So if you way up high, you have to be even more careful. We have learned over time that not all Muslims share the same hopeful and optimistic picture of Islam in America and worldwide. We have also learned that standing for justice may mean standing alone. This means just what it says. Allah has blessed this community in many ways. Alhamdulillah, these blessings come by way of much work, dedication, and commitment. The key here is what we've experienced for the last 28 years, 18 years. Standing alone, well, before that, the reason we know it's possible because that's what happens. Standing for truth and justice may well mean standing alone. Therefore, you have to be prepared. As the brother said earlier, it has a lot to do, our future has a lot to do with our self-image, how we see ourselves, right? Where we want to go and how much we're willing to pay for the journey to get there. We must bear in mind that long years of struggle will produce many peaks and valleys. How to navigate through the challenge and manage stress followed by exhilaration, followed by frustration, followed by renewal of energy and spirit takes a special process accompanied by a high level of adaptation and adjustment in personal management and community development. The lifelong journey of Islamic movement requires much mental, moral, physical, and spiritual preparation and progress. We must not lose sight of this. What we're saying here is basically very clear. Our struggle is protracted. It's long-range struggle. You got to deal with peaks and valleys, exhilaration. Now, if you notice, think about Martin Luther King. He didn't deal with valleys too well. He was actually depressed. A lot. Okay. I'm not bragging. I don't even remember what they might call depression. I don't remember. I'm sure there was sometime, but I don't remember when it was. It was so long ago. But we remember exhilarations, high points. But then what prepares for the so-called low points? Things don't go the way we want. Did anybody see the movie yet? What's the name of the movie?
Black Panther.
Black Panther. Did you see it? You haven't seen it yet. There's a co-star, is a guy from Oakland. He's part of the tribe, but he didn't know this long thing of revenge and what have you. And what he wants to do, since his father was a spy for the Wakandans, and he was in Oakland. And he'd been there so long, he wanted to help the black people. In fact, when the movie comes on, him and his friend, which is a Wakandan spy too, but he don't know it. And one of them is a prince, and one of them is kind of like a general. Neither one of them know, but they just working together as brothers. Anyway, to make a long story short, Wakanda has this magic beryllium or something they call it, I don't know. It's good. And they have a lot of stuff that don't nobody have. In medicine and technology and everything. In healing, they got everything. they also have weapons. The idea about one of the brothers, that's what the big fight is about at the end, is that we've been here in Wakanda, living this magical existence, and over 2 billion black people out there never had a chance to fight the white man. He always fought it with sticks and brooms and stuff like that, you know what I mean? He said, but now we gonna hook our people up. They're gonna straighten all of this out, and that's just the whole thing. And that's the end, getting near the end. And of course, this guy gets killed. Well, I don't want to tell it before you come this. But don't worry, this is a Marvel comic. Everybody liked Killmonger. Killmonger was a CIA agent and everything. And Killmonger is for the black people. He gets people in Wakanda kind of like him too. Hey man, look at here. Because some of the people in Wakanda feel the same way. We got it so good. And all black people are being treated like dogs around the world. If we hook them up, they can't lose. Okay. So finally, through a long struggle, Wakanda does come out of its shell, and it's, the good side wins, and Killmonger dies. Don't worry, this is a comic book. One of the main guys in the movie, the people who's taking top billing is Killmonger. Because he's saying what the people with the black, we got some stuff, we got some people, man, that can hook us up. So before the end, he's sending out, he said, we got our agents in London, we're gonna send them all. So now, that plot is overthrown, but at the end, the hero lands a spaceship in Oakland, because it starts in Oakland. Because the writer is, you know, Oscar Grant, Fruitvale Station stuff. He's made a couple of movies.
He's from Oakland.
He's from Oakland. So, the movie ends with them landing a spaceship in Oakland, and this is the first outreach. This is where we come in. The black futuristic thinkers and writers have done the best they could with what they know. The only one that have worked those questions about how to use power and all of that is us. Because we've been going through this in our dialogue all the time. So we want to hook up a crew that taps into these writers and these movie makers. Because we got the script for the next stage. They don't have a script. How to use power. It's like when we was over there, y'all would remember this at Howard, and they had that reparations thing. In my speech, I said I wouldn't want to see the nigga get a dime until he had at least 4 years of financial training. That's what I said. I said, cause, and I said it in several cookbooks, if the white man gave the Negro, let's see, each Negro $1 million, the Koreans, the car dealers, the merchants, they would be happy. They wouldn't say, don't give it to them. They would say, give it to them. Why? They would be waiting outside the check office, the reparation office, waiting for all they'd be given was Mercedes company, you know what I mean? Maybe a few of them so old they might want a Cadillac, you know, right? Big houses, red shoes, all of that. winning, what they call it,
Lottery.
lottery. What happens to the people? They all go broke.
They give it right back.
They give it right back. That's why the Koreans, everybody would be, please give that money. Y'all know, ain't jealous? We ain't no sir. Don't you worry about it. Don't, you just give them that money. It's a windfall. You give all the Negroes what it'll do for the economy, not what it'll do for them. That's why we said the same thing with powerful weapons. Think of any of the Negroes you know in any country you know in America. We got weapons now, we can fight the white man face to face. Yeah, good. What are we going to do? Think about it. What would that do? With a crew of any Negroes you can think of, now we defeat the white man in 2 weeks or less, right? What happens? I mean, just think about it. What happens?
Turn on each other.
Turn on each other and everything else. It'd be chaos. When they get the weapons, I would move up to the Arctic or down the equator somewhere. If I can't do anything about it, that's okay. Let's see, where would y'all come last? Where would you, right? The social engineering, the thing about it. So our statement to that same solution is, number one, we have a period of education and training of internal development. That's what we were saying then. We didn't say this last week when the movie came out. We said this all the time. The human being has certain things. He's always looking at the outer world, right? Like I was listening to a program on the oceans, and this great oceanography guy was saying how deep the ocean is, how it is the unexplored part of it. This just the people don't know what's there. In every spoonful of water, there's a whole life. In the ocean, you can imagine all the everything, and the deeper you go. So he said, well, the human being wants to discover outer space, right? But he don't want to discover the inner space. That's true of psychology, personality. Everybody want to look at what's outside in the world instead of the problem or the benefit is inside. For us to have that new world, it don't have little or nothing to do with the outside world. It had to do with us. If we want a new world, you got to have a new nigga, boy. You can't, look, that's the rule. We say it all the time. If you want to have a new world, you have to have a new person. That's why we said what we said in reparations thing over that, Howard. If and some of the brothers didn't like it, I didn't care. I said if we have reparations, I believe that we should have, before niggas get a dime, maybe they can get $5 or $10 to eat. They only after a minimum of a 4-year financial management program. Not that that's going to do a whole lot of good, but at least you can plead with them not to be a damn fool. And you can tell, okay, if 10 of y'all want to start a grocery chain, here's how you do it. If some of you want to start, so with a certain amount of money, you can do like other people do. They take over certain niches in the market. So you can choose the niche you want, and with so much money, and you're going to live a certain way. You're going to live like in the same little house you got. You're not going to buy no big house, because the Negro don't know. If you buy a big house, you got to pay taxes on the house. You got to keep the house up. The people's wondering why we stayed in the Masjid around there and then moved to those over here. what's the name, the office, because we already had an office, and somebody rents that, you get more money. You got an income. While we live in the basement downstairs next door, because let somebody else live upstairs and pay rent. That's all. My family didn't like it, but my family is not responsible for eating. They're responsible to eat when they got it, but they're not financial management. If they think they got people that's stingier than China, that's me. Or Vietnamese, 20 in a room, that's me. I can do that. Sleeping on the floor or outside in the back, in the woods, it don't make me no difference, as long as we got a turnover going. 10 to 20 years, you move inside. But you move inside and you ready, you got money. That's why the white man, all the stuff they did to us, would have broke anybody else hundreds of years ago. You see, they'll pull by and bought a car, they'll just pull it away or stop me and take it. Well, there's a car out there, they just turn a switch. They couldn't do that. I mean, we couldn't stay on top unless we had financial management. That's why in the movie, like I said, this guy Killmonger got an idea, we're going to make blacks so they can fight the white man and whip him. This is in the heart of all people, because we ain't never had a chance. When they come in colonialism, Commander Rhodes, Rhodesia, used to brag about the Africans in Montebello land, they great warriors. That whole South Africa, that whole area, not just South Africa, white people lost 8 people. And all those blacks, that's what they lost. To get all of South Africa and probably Lesotho and all of the South, they lost 8 white. Why? Because the brothers had lion skin shields and spears, and they had rifles. And by then, you know, in the 1880s, 85 on up, over here in the 1870s, they come out with the Gatling gun. The Europeans came out with the Maxim gun, a machine gun.
Aren't those the pictures we see of white people standing on mountains of skulls, African skulls, in that Rhodesia?
It was so, you know, Bambata was the king in South Africa. The white folks in 1910 cut his head off and put it on a postage stamp, how dirty they is. But now, so Killmonger is speaking to black people. Hey man, let's get our people in London, they together, we're gonna ship them everything, good white folks. The only thing is, as I asked a minute ago, what would the world be like if the Negro next week got everything he needs to finish off white folks in 2 weeks? Not finish them off, but make them kneel and whoop them. Let's think about the aftermath. This is the niggas right out here, our relatives.
Oh, you in trouble.
It's not the word, it's something, but it's...
They're not going to do anything.
No, it's just, no, they would do it. Let's assume they do it. Let's assume they take over.
You have power.
They have the power. They got everything in their hands. Of course they can read up to the 3rd grade, most of them. Most of them definitely can. And everything else, it would be chaos.
Fred, I saw something where Fred Hampton said it would be some type of black imperialism.
Of course it would. That's the only thing, it would have to be, because don't nobody know nothing. That's why we have to educate, remember, all the black writers, yes.
You know, reminds me of, remember how you say you were in Africa
Right,
and you were dealing with an African brother
right.
and y'all were having breakfast and you kept on talking about the white man, the white man, the white
Yeah.
man, and then he was observing you.
Yeah.
Remember, you finished
Yeah.
the story?
No, Congo Slim. That's what I call him, Congo Slim. We hustled together. He was actually from Somalia, but he spent time in the Congo. He spoke 4 languages. He spoke what they speak in Somalia. He spoke English. Must have spoke Arabic too. French. He must have spoke more languages than that. He spoke Italian. Did I say Italian? Because the Italians was in Somaliland a long time. And he spoke Congolese, of course. Man, he must have spoke 5 languages. But he was saying, all of us is there, and we talking about all we talked about in Africa, the black brothers. Man, the white man, this is white man, that. And so, actually his name was Hassan. He said, Mr. Hank, you all talk about the white man, but it's only the color. See, now he's from over there, and he's looking at all of us, the white folks, the niggas. Now we know the difference between white folks, but they couldn't. Only thing, how we ordered stuff in the restaurant, how we got around, he said, it's the color. In other words, the only difference between us and the white man is the color. That's his vision. And he's our friend. He said that it's the color. That's all. So, but back to the writers. Afro-Futurism of Black Panther. Now I put here Star Trek and all that because all the black writers, as it says, coined the term Afro-Futurism to describe the work of artists who use the tools of science fiction to imagine possible futures. We never use science fiction. We use in reality. When we talk about one more mountain to climb, one more river to cross, utopia and all of that, and all of our discussions is how are we going to do that? Our brothers, like the movie, use science fiction.